Okay guys, this is a movie that I really want to do. I wanted to do this, and this has played why? Because it's played a major part of me as a critic. This is really what helped me get more into movies along with Gravity. But this is a movie that came out way before I saw Gravity. I saw it around, I think 2011, 2012, I have no idea. I think it's more likely in 2012. But otherwise, I think I got a major obsession with R-rated movies after I saw The Hangover, which also kind of helped it. But really it was around when I saw this movie that I really became more obsessed with becoming a film critic. This movie is based on the true life story of Aron Ralston. If you guys don't know who that is, Aron Ralston was a guy who was an engineer who was climbing in the Utah mountains, the canyons, and he got stuck under a boulder. His right arm got stuck, and he was stuck there for 5 days, and he tried to get out, and how he escaped by amputating his arm. The movie is called 127 Hours, directed by Danny Boyle, written by him and Simon Beaufoy, stars James Franco as Aron Ralston, and seriously, I love this movie. This movie is unbelievable. I mean, holy shit. I mean, it takes place mostly in one situation, but I never was bored. I was always pulled in. I kept watching, I kept staring at the screen, and I could not get enough of this movie when I first watched it. However, guys, the arm amputation scene, see, that scene's not easy to sit through if you're weak-stomached and if you don't really want to see something that's too graphic. Now, it's not incredibly graphic. It was done with practical effects. I have to give credit to the filmmakers that, because if it was on visual effects, I would have been pissed off. And it took me about 3 times to see it. The first 2 times, I kind of turned my head away. I only saw a bit of it, but I decided, you know what, fuck it. I decided to watch it, and to be honest, it actually wasn't that bad. And actually, I saw the movie again a few months, I think like last month, and I forgot how much I love this movie. I forgot how much it's played a huge part in me as a critic. And I love this movie. The direction, I mean, like, Danny Boyle keeps this energy going throughout the movie that never bored me. I was always kept watching it. I mean, also, James Franco is amazing as Aron Ralston. For a guy who's considered crazy, he has given good performances. And this is his best performance. Career best, no doubt. I mean, he got an Oscar nomination for it, his only so far. And he's fantastic. As Aron Ralston, you feel for him. He's vulnerable in this situation. You don't know if he's going to, even though you know the outcome, you still feel like, oh my god, is he going to get out or not? That's really giving devotion to, even though you know the outcome, it almost feels like you don't know it while you're watching it. Because that's how convinced you are by the performances, the direction, the writing, everything. Especially the acting, because, I mean, James Franco carries the movie himself. And he carries it. And the movie's not even long. It's a little over an hour and a half, and seriously, what they did with it was just amazing. I mean, they kept me intrigued throughout the entire thing. There's a lot, it has there's some beautiful cinematography, there's a lot of close-ups, but I didn't have any problems with that because it was well shot. They managed, he was trapped in a small space, so there's almost like a sense of claustrophobia in there. But there was always good focus on some of the sequences. There's also a few things I found surprising, such as looking back on his life, him feeling guilty because he never told anyone where he was going, that's why he was stuck there so long. And the ending is incredibly it's just so emotional, and I just love like going on YouTube and just looking it up because, you know, why not? Same for the arm amputation scene, because I can sit through that entire thing and not flinch. It's just awesome. It's just amazing I can do that. But to be honest, it's not that bad. I mean, I've seen a whole lot worse things. We've all seen a Quentin Tarantino movie with all that mass gore. I've also seen a few horror movies, I think. Maybe like Silence of the Lambs counts. I have no idea. I think it kind of does. But this movie is amazing to me. I mean, the acting is fantastic. I mean, Franco carries the movie on his hands so perfectly. It's a very insightful look into Ralston as a character. He's a very flawed person. I mean, he never really was a very responsible person. He never really told people where he was going. He just experienced life by just climbing canyons, climbing mountains, trekking, hiking, whatever he wanted to do with the outdoors. I mean, that's really where he felt human and where he really felt free as a person. And you understand that. But also, whenever he's in a situation, you really feel for him. You're scared for him because you don't want to see him going through a lot of things. Because he goes through some awful situations. Because, I mean, when he's under the rock, he tries pecking at it with his knife. And he has a dull knife. And, you know, losing that knife is not worth it. Also, you don't want him to lose water because he doesn't have a lot of water. Same for food. Well, of course, he was stuck for 5 days. Food was never really a huge option, but water was really because the average person can only go 3 days without water. And that was really what helped play the situation, helped ramp up the tension. It kept the tension building, and once it got to that finale and how I get the build up to it was just fantastic. There's also a lot of scenes where he's just, you know, hallucinating, he's going through some bad bad. I mean, he's stuck there. He's dehydrated. His mind isn't working correctly because there's not enough water in his body, and he's really starting to. The situation is like it's closing in on him. The potential of him actually dying, and not really living. Not really experienced his entire life. It's really sad. I mean, my God. You really feel for this guy. It's a really heartbreaking movie. It's heartbreaking. There's also this great. I mean, the use of visual style that Danny Boyle offers up. He uses a lot of like sunlight glare, and it's not really a bad thing. It has this unique poetic vibe, I think, to it. I don't really know, but I think it's not really a problem. Can it become if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff, it's hard to really see. But I think it worked well with the mood, with the scene that they're presenting, and I thought it worked well. There's also this one song called "If I Rise." I actually listened to it on YouTube. It has beautiful vocals, and it was brilliant. I really liked the score. The score was just... The score, in my opinion, I can still remember tunes from it. Seriously, if the score is memorable, that's how good it is. If you can remember some parts of it. Especially the end scene, that worked well for me. And also during like the Annotation scene. Seriously, those are the best tunes those are the best time. Like the rhythm of those tunes, rhythm of that score, I can remember in those scenes. That's how memorable it is. Danny Boyle keeps the energy going. He never lets up. He always keeps the tension building. He offers up something interesting to keep the audience that doesn't really lose the audience's attention. It just keeps it. It just keeps the audience staring at the screen. I just never got bored with it. I was always sitting through it, always intrigued, and always wanting to know what was going to happen next. Because I only knew what happened, the basic parts of of Aaron's story. I never really knew the more detailed parts. And yes, they do mess around with it, because I did see like this Dayline NBC thing on YouTube. It was a special. There's a 1-year anniversary of his heartbreaking and death-defying journey, and it's amazing. Yeah, there are a few things it pushes around, but overall it stays very accurate to the facts. It's realistic. It almost feels, according to Aaron Ralston, actually almost felt like a documentary. That's how much he supported this movie. There is one thing they changed around. There's one scene where Aaron meets these two girls, and he takes them to this underground, I guess, like water, like, I don't know what it's like, a reservoir, I believe, something like that. When in real life, he was teaching these two girls like some basic climbing moves, like some climbing stuff. It's like some, climbing things that he had done, because I mean, he treks, he hikes, he climbs, why not? But I didn't care about that, because I think that, I would find the underground water reservoir a whole lot more interesting, a lot more enjoyable to watch than him showing climbing moves. That would have been too bad, because I mean, Boyle knows what he's doing and knows how to keep the audience's attention. But whatever, I didn't really care. This movie is just, I loved it. It was one of my favorite movies of 2010, and I think 2010 was a pretty good year. Not financially, not in terms of box office success in the US, it was actually pretty low. It actually was down from 2009. But still, there were some great movies that came out that year. This, The Social Network, and Inception, my favorite movie of the 2010s so far. I love that movie. Love Christopher Nolan. And while I did like Interstellar, it was a little disappointing. But whatever, man. I mean, it's hard to get past movies when you have Inception, the Dark Knight trilogy, especially The Dark Knight. And also you have Memento. I have not seen Insomnia or Following, but I do want to see those. 127 Hours is such a powerful survival story. It's heartbreaking. Sometimes it's a little hard to sit through because it's hard to watch because it's so heartbreaking. It's inspirational. And there are times where it's a little hard to sit through because sometimes there's a bit of blood. Also the amputation scene and the build up to it. Cause he actually applies torque to break his arm. I'm sorry I'm spoiling for you guys, but I'm also giving you some kind of warning because this might not be easy for you to stomach. But guys, come into this with an open mind, because it doesn't matter if you know the outcome or not, because you still get something out of this movie. It really impacts you. It really gets deep inside you, and it stays there. If you guys don't see it, I'm actually kind of tearing a little bit. Maybe it's because I'm on here, but also, I really love that movie. It's really inspirational. One of the best biopics I've ever seen. I love it. It's amazing. I mean, you can't get any better when you have a movie that has when it was nominated for several Oscars. You can't get any better than that. Anyways, guys, that is my review for 127 Hours. 5 out of 5 stars. I love it. It's such a great movie. I really recommend you guys watch it. The annotation scene is hard to sit through, but if you can get past that, this movie is just inspirational. It's one of the most inspirational movies I've ever seen. It doesn't force it. It really feels real. Now you see where Aaron Ralston was saying about the documentary part. Yeah. I hope you guys understand. I hope you guys see this movie one day, and I hope you really I hope you like it, because it is such a great. I love it so much. Anyways, guys, that's my review for 127 Hours. Comment below. What did you think of the movie? Have you seen it? Can you sit through the amputation scene? Did you ever skip that part? What do you think of it? Also, subscribe to my channel for more videos. And actually, guys, I actually want to point out one more thing. He actually has, like, some hallucinations he has, some of them are almost kind of funny, some of them kind of scare him. But there's also one that really breaks his heart. I mean, like, he's kind of surrounded by his family. And it's kind of also feeling like hopelessness that maybe that's almost like, this is where he's kind of seeing his family for the last time. It's heartbreaking. Also, scene involving Little Boy, I don't really want to spoil much, but if you ever see the movie, and you didn't see the ending, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's heartbreaking. It's a great movie. Comment below and subscribe to my channel.